Welcome back to this review of the first test in Introductory Algebra. And this problem 12 has been lingering around for a while for the last couple of videos. We haven't gotten around to it. Let's do it finally now. And we're to simplify this algebraic expression of 4 times the quantity 2a minus 3b minus the quantity a minus b. And to simplify an algebraic expression, the first thing we want to do is get rid of the parentheses, and we can do that by distributing we'll get rid of the first parentheses by distributing. 4 times 2a is 8a, and then 4 times a negative 3b is minus 12b. And to get rid of the second parentheses, there's a shortcut. If you have a minus sign in front of a parentheses, you just rewrite it without the minus sign, but change the signs of what's in the parentheses. So we're going to change the a to a negative a and the negative b to a plus b, or the minus b to a plus b. And now we look for like terms. We want to combine like terms, and we see two terms that have a as a variable and two terms that have b as a variable. And so 8a subtract 1b is going to be equal to 8a rather subtract 1a is equal to 7a, and negative 12b plus 1b is plus a negative 11b plus negative 11b. And another way to write that, and a simpler way, is to just write it as 7a subtract 11b. Plus negative 11b and subtract 11b mean the same thing. Next problem is to write an equivalent expression using the commutative property of addition. Commutative property has to do with the order. And so what we want to do is change the order of the addition in this problem. We still keep the multiplication in there, but only change the x plus 20 to 20 plus x. And we've accomplished what we were to do in that problem. The next problem wants us to write an equivalent expression using the associative property of multiplication. And then after that, then simplify. The associative property has to do with the grouping, and in the case of this multiplication, instead of the 3 and the y being inside of a grouping symbol, a parentheses, we want to just change the parentheses to put it around the negative 5 times 3, and we're putting a dot in there to indicate multiplication, and then that's times y. To simplify this, we now just multiply negative 5 times 3, that's negative 15, and times y, negative 15y. Next problem wants us to write an equivalent expression without parentheses by using the distributive property. And in this case we have 3 terms inside of the parentheses, and we can distribute with 3 terms or 4 terms or even more than that. So in this case we're going to multiply 4 times x, and you get 4x. 4 times a negative 1, and we get negative 4 or plus negative 4. We could write it either way. And 4 times 2y is, 4 times 2 is 8y. And oftentimes they write this with the variable part first, so we could rewrite this as 4x plus 8y. We're using the commutative property, minus 4. We just switch the minus 4 and the 8y. And actually, I don't have to put equals here. I can just put that these are, I can write or. Either answer is just fine on that problem. Okay, next problem says, what is the difference? And difference means subtract. What is the difference between a surplus? A surplus is a positive amount of $120, and a deficit is a negative value, negative 30. So what is the difference? So the first number is 120. That was a positive number. Difference means to subtract, so we write a subtract down. And then deficit means a negative number, so we write negative 30. So we have 120 subtract a negative 30. We can rewrite that as an addition of the opposite, and the opposite of negative 30 is positive 30, and then we just add 120 plus 30 is 150, and check to see what the units are in. We're talking about dollars here, so we write our final answer is $150. Next problem wants to know if 4 is a solution of the following equation. 1/4 times the quantity x plus 2 equals 1/3 x plus 1/6. Is 4 a solution? And to find out, we need to replace x with 4. So we have 1/4, and then inside of the parentheses, what do we place in place of x? We put the 4 in there. 4 plus 2 equals, and what is it equal? We're not sure yet. 1/3 times, and we replace that other x also with 4 plus 1/6, and we have a question mark because we're not sure. When I see I forgot to complete my parentheses. Okay, so now we can, on the left side of this equation, we can work inside of the parentheses, and what's 4 plus 2? That's 6. And on the right side of the parentheses, 1/3 times 4, or 4 over 1 is 4/3. 1/3 times 4 is 4/3 plus 1/6. Okay. Let me get rid of that. Okay, and now the next thing that we can do on the left side is do a multiplication over there. And so 1/4 times 6 over 1 is 6 over 4. You just multiply the numerators and the denominators together. And by the way, we still don't know if we have something that's equivalent on both sides of the equal sign. So let's rewrite 4/3 as 8/6 because we want to add it to 1/6, and we need an equivalent fraction, and 8/6 is equivalent to 4/3. Now let's continue on and simplify the left side over here. Write something that's an equivalent fraction in simpler form. You could reduce that 6/4 down to 3/2, and 8/6 plus 1/6, you just add the numerators and you get 9/6. And finally, if we look at this 9/6, if you divide 3 into both the numerator and the denominator, that reduces to 3 over 2. So sure enough, we have a true statement. And so we do see that 4 is a solution because it made for a true statement and a true equation. Our equation was true when we put 4 in place of x, and so 4 is a solution. That does it for this time. See you next time.